But could a scientist also be an artist? Could something soulful, beautiful, and delicious be produced under laboratory conditions? I didn't think so. And then came Ferran Adria. Things are different now. The recently published El Bulli cookbook, weighing in at nearly 10 pounds, is perhaps the hottest, most sought-after, revolutionary document in the annals of cookbooks. Nearer to the black monolith in 2001: A Space Odyssey than a cookbook, it's gaped at, debated, pored over by chefs around the world, an object both spectacularly impressive and intimidating. Carrot foams, aerosol spaghettis, pastoless raviolis created in secret laboratories with the help of biochemists and an industrial designer. And behind all this is a chef named Ferran Adria. Before I met Ferran Adria, I dismissed him publicly as the phone dude, and privately hoped that he would take his weird science approach to cooking and fade away. But like a bad penny, he kept popping up. It's no exaggeration to call Ferran Adria the most controversial chef on the planet. His restaurant, El Bulli, is hands down the most sought-after reservation. Now, I've come to terms with the fact that I'm getting old. I've come to terms with the fact that the world has changed. But none of that was helping me to understand what was going on in a restaurant in a remote area of the Costa Brava, in a laboratory in Barcelona, or inside the mind of Ferran Adria. And I had to find out. Two hours north of Barcelona, Spain, along the Costa Brava, nestled in a small cove surrounded by trees, is El Bulli, Ferran Adria's tradition-defying, trend-setting restaurant. The first thing one notices when entering El Bulli is that it is indeed a restaurant, not a palace, a spaceship, a temple, or the culinary equivalent of Euro Disney. The dining area is reminiscent of the kind of upscale restaurants found around the world these days. The kitchen, however, is quite a different story. One hardly expects to begin this meal with a cocktail and a basket of rolls, so a frappe of green pine water served with artichoke chips isn't so much surprising as it is surprisingly appropriate.
Salud. That was water, a pine tree. This is great. You would think really overpowering, aromatic. No, it's clean and astringent.
A shimmering, translucent globe of raw tuna bone marrow with caviar. It's like top-quality Edo-style sushi from another planet.
Oh, wow.
Like all the courses I try, it has a progression of clean, intense, and precise flavors and a pleasurable aftertaste that never intrude on the course to follow. Cuttlefish and coconut ravioli are two tight pillows of cuttlefish which explode in the mouth, rudely and unexpectedly flooding it with coconut liquid.
There's no fusion here. There's no blending of flavors into a muddy, sort of a general crowd of flavors all combining to make one flavor. There are individual clean flavors that you kind of put together, either all at the same time or in rapid succession.
Adria is combining elements that I never imagined could go together.
Cherry with ham.
Cherry with ham. It looked like a cherry and white fondant. It's a cherry dipped in Iberico ham fat. So you get this full Iberico ham fat flavor, already a good thing, and then this clean, sort of a cleansing cherry. It explodes in the center. They're outrageous.
And when you're an innovator like Adria, it's not only about the thoughtful combination of elements that is new, but the process in which they're combined that's so unique. Geez, what's next? A cheese ice cream sandwich?
Oh, yeah.
A tiny Parmigiano ice cream sandwich is an extreme example of playing on comfort food. Apple caviar, Tiny, beautiful globules of unearthly apple essence are served in a caviar tin. Looks like caviar, but tastes like pure apple. A revelatory and thoroughly delicious practical joke.
Trademark imitation bouillie. All the cooks in the world are going crazy to know how this can be done. This is the only one we haven't explained to everybody.
It's got the same feel as caviar. They explode in your mouth just like caviar, like beluga.
Cotton candy carcass of tiny fish. A small fried fish cocooned by sweet sugar gauze. It's like an edible dust bunny that you found under your bed, only delicious.
It's the scariest looking dish I've ever seen.
Adria watches me closely as I eat each course, things rarely as they appear. His face lights up again and again as my face registers surprise, confusion, astonishment. A ravioli filling, miraculously suspended in space, with no pasta or outer shell to contain it. This pea ravioli is a seemingly physically impossible concoction in which liquid essence of bright green fresh baby peas is wrapped only in itself.
It's outrageous. It's ravioli without ravioli skin. It's as if you have there's no as if about it. There's nothing like it. It just it immediately dissolves into liquid essence of green pea, and yet the entire dish is essentially green pea. There's no pasta on the outside. There's nothing holding it together.
Carrot air is an intensely flavored, truly lighter-than-air froth of carrot and tangerine served in a cut glass bowl.
More surprises to come. I've heard about this. This is another kind of revolutionary process here.
The improbable, even inconceivable sounding iced powder of foie gras with foie gras consomme is truly one of those important ideas Adria spoke of back at the Tailleur. How the frozen, finely ground foie gras powder maintains its structural integrity in a bowl of hot foie consomme, I will never know. It defies physics.
This powder melts, it's cold, it's frozen, and it melts immediately into a hot.
But really, if you want new emotions, and really big emotions, you need new techniques.
The constantly evolving 32 courses, often nearly 5-hour meal at El Bulli seems to gleefully invite furious debate. 2 pristine oysters in their own essence. Oysters with oysters and yogurt. Hazelnut yogurt cream rolled with macadamia nut, and then a dot of lemon relish. Scampi with rosemary is scampi in its own sauce, made largely from the good stuff found in the head. The rosemary is a sprig of fresh rosemary served on the side to be sniffed and discarded so as not to blow out the palate by actually eating the strong, highly aromatic herb. 2 meters of Parmesan cheese spaghetti is 1 long strand of cheese-flavored consomme, suspended with agar-agar, coiled in the bowl like a small portion of spaghetti carbonara, and then the desserts. Marble soup. Delicate marbles of coffee and rose water floating in lychee soup. A Wonder Bread appearing loaf called the morphing virtually disappears on the tongue, leaving no residue or trace of having once been there.
Where'd it go?
And finally, snowballs. Shavings of lemon ice with the consistency of new snow, with a surprise filling of strawberries, lemon, and roses. A delightful remembrance of a snowy day.
Snowball. Oh.
I love the little chips.
This looks like snow.
This is not your ordinary food. You ask yourself at the end of this experience, what is a meal? What should a meal be? What can a meal be? Should food be science? Should food be art? I don't know. But I think these are questions that Ferran Adria asks every day.
Back in Barcelona, the other end of the spectrum. Never repeat is the guiding mantra of the brothers Adria. What you did last year, even if it changed the world, is not enough this year. El Taller, test kitchen, workshop, lab, and proving ground for what has been referred to as the best restaurant in the world. Among other things, Albert Adria addresses all the desserts at El Bulli. And today, he's invited me to take a look at some of his newest creations, part of a whole new direction and the subject of his coming book called Natura. The new book is inspired by nature and natural elements. Why nature?
No, I have 100 interviews, molecular gastronomy.
So is this a reaction to that?
No premeditada.
Not premeditated.
Instinctive.
Instinctiva.
Sí, sí.
Because he doesn't know the philosophy.
No sé dónde está el límite de inspirarte en la naturaleza.
He doesn't know where the limit is.
A response maybe to those who've accused the Adrias of being too technical. What Albert's up to lately appears an instinctive, almost reactionary rejection of classical shapes, an embrace of substances and textures, everyday things we take for granted.
Vamos a hacer un bizcocho.
Now we're going to make a sponge cake.
Like this 30-second sponge cake, intended to be torn apart in organic shapes.
This is yogurt, almond powder, sugar. That's all I think. A white egg.
Egg white.
Egg white.
Egg white.
Pues cogemos un vaso
We take a cup
y hacemos agujeros.
and we make holes.
Okay. That's aerated this. Into the oven?
It's a microwave oven.
Microwave.
30 segundos.
30 seconds.
Yup, in less time than it takes to heat a burrito, it goes from goop in a cup to a delightfully airy and delicious sponge cake.
And then you can break it.
Un poco muy húmedo aún. Necesitaría más tiempo para...
Otherworldly and yet familiar. It's fantastic.
¿De que sí? Ahora verá.
It's a process that plays out in all of Albert's creations, taking an ingrained idea of what something is or should be and turning it on its head. Whether it's a recreation of a black truffle made from black truffle ice cream coated in black sesame sponge cake, together they're great. A flawless reproduction of a strawberry, made from strawberry sorbet and strawberry gelatin.
Que cuando congela da una estructura de telaraña.
When it freezes, the structure is a bit like a spider web, and that's why it comes out perfectly from the mold.
Y en boca no se nota nada.
And when you taste it, you don't really notice it.
The sorbet is poured into the outer layer and frozen for 3 to 4 hours. But this being TV, we say, and when it's done, it'll look like this.
Pero esto es from yesterday. Llaman al suplet.
Fiendish. Albert is reimagining the natural world, exploring what is possible with food, constantly reinventing, consciously undermining, and replacing what he's done before.
The branches.
His book is a shockingly beautiful catalog of his latest accomplishments here.
This banana.
Ah, yes. That is not a banana.
This is black rose.
This is not a rose. Oh, man.
Esto es granito.
Granite.
This is a merengue of black sesame.
Meringue.
And here is an unbelievable ice sorbet from passion fruit.
Can I suggest a screw or some barbed wire?
Alambre.
Sí, lo intenté.
He tried it.
Sí, sí,
No,
sí.
no.
With chocolate.
Pastry chefs everywhere, when they see this, will gape in fear and awe and wonder. I feel for them. Like Eric Clapton seeing Jimi Hendrix for the first time, one imagines they will ask themselves, what do I do now?
El Bulli nunca cerró, no ha cerrado el Bulli restaurante. Lo más difícil que hay que comprender sobre todo lo que ha pasado estos años es que el Bulli no solo era un restaurante. Con el Bulli hicimos muchos proyectos. El Bulli sería en inglés a way of life, es una manera de entender la vida, una filosofía que se trasladó a muchos proyectos y a muchas personas.
The legendary El Bulli was named #1 in the world's 50 best, a record of 5 times. Ferran Adria.
Teníamos que cerrarlo en el momento de felicidad. Yo ya no tenía más challenge. Había sido 5 veces mejor restaurante del mundo, portadas en todas las revistas del mundo, tengo todos los premios del mundo. ¿Cuál era el challenge? ¿Qué teníamos que hacer, no, para levantarnos por la mañana y decir, bueno, seguimos con la ilusión que teníamos antes? Entonces yo sigo mejorando. Ahora es muy fácil, porque he descubierto que no sé nada, que lo que yo creía que sabía no estaba bien, y estoy desaprendiendo para volver a aprender. Es importantísimo crear un nuevo conocimiento, y esto es el challenge que tengo. Si yo quiero que las nuevas generaciones sean mejor que nosotros, ya lo son, pero que sobre todo comprendan lo que hacen, no hacerlo por hacerlo. Ahora un poquito, yo soy muy serio trabajando, muy exigente. ¿Por qué? Porque yo no conozco a nadie que esté a un nivel alto que le hayan regalado nada. Todo es trabajo, seriedad, tal. La vida son detalles. A veces un pequeño detalle cambia. Yo quería ir de vacaciones a Ibiza. Para pagarme las vacaciones busqué un trabajo y el primero que salió fue de fregaplatos. Si ese día no fuera salido este trabajo, no estaríamos hablando. Yo no quería ser cocinero. Hace 25 años, bueno, esto de la gastronomía es una moda. Yo decía, no ha hecho más que empezar. Y hoy, que parece que no ha hecho más que empezar.